to go to the other side. Let's see. I want you to be able to see very well here. Yes, it's a community for everyone. We have a safe space for skills development, which is very important, and sharing of knowledge, which is also one of the reasons why I am here. I think it's a fantastic thing that you have this community which is able to not only have knowledge, but also to share knowledge. And this is knowledge for a lifetime. So we will continue to learn for a lifetime. By the way, this is an environment of respect and support. And speaking of respect and support, we honor here the Berlin Code of Conduct, which means that we all have respect for one another, no abusive language based on either gender or religion or personal physical attributes, that everyone here is respectful to each other, and this is very, very important. And that's why this evening, instead of just saying, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, I say, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, which means most of us is everybody else. Thank you very much. So be careful and be respectful, please. Altogether, the community has about 5,544 participants, and this has been over a period of years that this has built up. And we're looking forward to inviting even more people to come and join us. So we're hoping that this number will increase as we speak. And we hope to welcome you also to the community and come and join us also at Warsaw JS. The link is meetup.com/Warsaw JS. Please feel free to come and join us. This is a good time to also thank the sponsors. And I'm going to start with this one because for this mask, which is going to come in very handy, I can say thank you to PackHelp, which is one of our main sponsors. Let's hear some applause for PackHelp. Thank you. They've also given us some really wonderful guest bags. We have some packages that we can take home, gift bags. We also have 10 clouds, everyone. Let's hear it for the sponsors. Come on, we need this. Thank you. Daft Code. Give it up. Let's hear it. Come on. Prisma. Is anybody in the house with Prisma? Sumo Logic. Fresh Shot. And X-Fang. Of which I am also a proud member. So thank you all very much. We really appreciate the sponsors for making this all possible. Okay, by the way, today there will be a contest. Another one of our sponsors is JetBrains. And it's important that we announce that there will be a contest that you can enter and win. We'll give you details later. If you enter the contest, you'll be able to win 100% coupon of one of JetBrains products. We'll give you more information on that later on. So, in order to get information about the rules and regulations of the contest, please go to warsawjs.com and press Join Us on Slack, which is the application. So we're looking forward to meeting you all there again. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you, me too. So far, so good. Thank you very much. Nice to see everyone. And finally, don't forget about this. This will be Warsaw JS's 48th workshop event. And that will be, the topic will be training. Oh boy, other side again. The topic will be a series of training architect or architect training. And this is Walka the Legacy Code. That means fighting with the legacy code. And I'm sure it's difficult. It's more difficult than I can say because I know nothing about technology. So this Walka, I really can understand. Walka's Legacy Code. And please, the event takes place on the 20th of September. That's this month, so you still have some time to register. And the time is from 10 to 15. In order to register, please go to warsawjs.com and join us on Slack, and there you will be able to find the details for the registration. So thank you very much for that. Very happy to see you all here today. That's workshop number 48. The topic is, the series is Training Architect or Architect Training, Walka's Legacy Code. And finally, we're about to come to the list of speakers for this evening. Oh, this light, what can I do? Okay, the list of speakers for this evening, I'm very, very proud to present our first speaker for this evening, who is going to have a fantastic topic. For me, this is the best possible topic imaginable, because I'm starting to have some problems with my browser. I don't know if any of you have this problem, but I have a computer from the Flintstones, and a lot of these browsers do not offer me updates. So it would be very interesting in finding a solution to this problem. So in order to offer a solution for some and also innovation for others, I would like to invite our first speaker for the evening, Krzysztof Modras. Krzysztof Modras, and his theme will be Build Yourself a Web Browser. So everyone, welcome Krzysztof.
So now we have to switch the stream, the slides.
What should I do?
You're not on stream yet?
Ah, maybe it will work. Yeah, give me a second.
Should I change it again? Let's begin.
Yeah, give me a moment. So I will with this mic.
Oh, okay. That's also worry. That's fine. We can see the slides.
You can?
We still haven't started the talk. You can enter. Chodź, Tati.
What needs to happen?
Żeby tak się...
No tell.
Tomek.
So I've now streamed the lecture. Right, I will let everyone to settle a bit. All right, everyone. How are you doing?
Great!
Hope you are so excited for this talk as I am. It's great to be back on Warsaw.js stage after a couple years. So today I would like to talk about how to build yourself a web browser with your amazing powers of JavaScript. As you know, we're JavaScript developers here, right? But I would like to start with a little quiz first. Because as you know, browser engines are not really built with JavaScript, right? If you would guess what kind of language you would use to build a browser engine.
Rust!
Maybe in a few years.
But JavaScript is Rust.
Well, partially. But most of the time, browser engines are built with C++. So is Chrome, so is WebKit, and so is Firefox. There's a tiny bit of Rust there as well. But you must know one more thing. When it comes to Firefox, and by the way, by the end of this presentation, you will know I'm a massive Firefox fan. So prepare for that, embrace it. You know.
Yeah,
But do you guys see anything?
just like
So with Firefox, there is a trick. It's also being built with JavaScript. In fact, the majority of Firefox applications code is being written in JavaScript. And when I mean applications code, this is not one of those three components. This is one of those components. But this is not a JavaScript engine, which is C++ obviously. This is not a rendering engine, which is...
Sorry to interrupt you. Can you share your slides so on the streaming there will be also the streaming?
I thought I did that. I did it a few times already.
Okay.
Maybe now?
Yes, now it's great.
So, yeah. Where were I? I was talking about three components of every browser. We have a JavaScript engine and rendering engine, and most of the time it was all written in C++. But come on, how many times you guys have complained about having to change something in JavaScript engine or the rendering engine? What annoys us most of the time is the application code of the browser. It's the features that you love or hate, having a search bar or having bookmarks. And with Firefox, majority of this application code is being in fact written in JavaScript. So let me demonstrate what does it really mean to you. So this is standard Firefox nightly. You can go to Web Developer Tools and find the inspector to inspect the website. But if you go to the settings, you can find some couple switches here which says, hey, enable browser debugging. This will allow you to do a cool thing. If you go to Tools and Web Developer again, here is a browser toolbox now. And this is the developer tools as before. But this time, I can debug the browser itself. I am now selecting the elements of the UI of the browser itself, finding the HTML tags responsible for them, hitting the delete button, and now they go away. So I'm editing Firefox on fly as we speak. So those developer tools are in fact the same developer tools that you use to debug websites. So you have your standard debugger. So here is a browser.js. This is a prime entry point for Firefox when it comes to rendering UI. Here is an onload function, which basically is fired whenever the window of Firefox is loaded. There's also DOM content loaded somewhere there because Firefox is being written in web technology. So you have just JavaScript here to assign some additional event listeners or this kind of things. You can use these tools to inspect the network that your browser is doing. So here is the list of all requests that the browser is performing. And now I'm selected the update request. So this is when Firefox asks Mozilla, hey, is there a browser update? So I can see the content of this update as I like. I have a memory inspection tool, so I can check where exactly my Firefox is allocating those hundreds of megabytes of RAM. And I have this beloved performance analysis tool on which I can see the stack trace of all operations that the browser is doing at this very moment. All as it would be a normal website. No differences. That is why I'm a web developer that is building browsers for 5 years. So that's my handle on Twitter and on GitHub. After this talk, I hope you will have some questions that I can answer about building the browsers. But let me start to get into it. So first of all, why do we want to build a browser? Aren't all browser engines just great? Well, I'm first to tell you, all of them are amazing. Like Firefox or Chrome or Safari, those browsers are just great. The engines behind them are super powerful. But what I'm doing, I'm building user agents. And if you look on the definition of user agent, so in computing, a user agent is a software that is acting on behalf of a user, so such as a web browser, which is like retrieving, rendering, and facilitating the user actions with the web content. But to me, a user agent is a software that can, for instance, protect me from privacy threats over the internet that are so common nowadays. So I am enhancing my own browser to serve me better. So my browser is my user agent. So what I can do with such an enhanced browser? I can have an ad blocker, as you can imagine. You can have an anti-tracker. We have built one with some colleagues at Wix, which I will tell you more about later on, which is a cool thing. Whenever I fire the request to some third-party tracker, I'm looking on this request, my browser is looking on this request, looking for my unique identifiers and replacing it with something random. So then, me as a person, to that analytic tool, look like hundreds of people, because every request is random. You can, with your own browser, you can build a own meta page, bookmark manager, a theme, a password manager, a translator, or a to-do app. And you're right, you have heard about those things before, because this is task that is typically performed by web extensions or browser add-ons. So, those browser add-ons are little pieces of JavaScript that you can put into your browser and use the special browser kind of an API to interact with the browser guts. So same as on the regular website, you have a window object to perform some operations on the website. In the web extensions, you have the browser object. Then you can, for instance, query for all active tabs and insert some custom CSS into it. So to change the background to black, like in this instance. But you probably want more, because if you can do something with just web extension, you wouldn't be wanting to build your own browser. Well, this is a screenshot of the project that I was working on for the past 5 years. At Clicks, we were building a Firefox fork, which was replacing a core component of the browser, the URL bar. Instead of showing regular query suggestions or history results, we are showing you rich content from our search engine directly inside of the browser, completely negating the necessity of going to the search engine results page, like Google.com. So every result from the entire web was available to you just at the glance of your of your finger inside of the browser without going to any websites. But to do this kind of integration, we had to replace Firefox URL bar completely. So we just get rid of it and replace it with our own custom code. To do this kind of integration, you have to change the browser. You cannot do it with the add-on. Nowadays, it's unfortunately no longer in operation, but what we have done is still available as an open source project, so you can take a look at what we have done, and hopefully you can learn from it how to build your own browsers. So what we have done, we have utilized the power of a special subsystem inside of the Firefox. It's called system add-ons, and they give you like complete unlimited potential. This is a kind of an add-on that you can create your own APIs for. And those APIs have full access to every bit and piece of Firefox itself. So this is like you will be building the browser itself, but from within the add-on. To do so, you have to define your own custom APIs. Here I'm defining a better history API, because if you play with web extensions, you know that history API is not so great, it's very limited, and you would, for instance, like to do a keyword search of sorts. To do so, you will have to write some SQL behind the scene, but to make it available to your JavaScript program, probably you'd like to have a nice abstraction. And here I'm introducing a better history.search. And when I'm calling it from the browser object within my system add-on, I just say better history search by keyword Firefox, and I'm getting my results. So what if you like to start to build this kind of system add-ons? I would say start with regular add-on. Download yourself a Firefox Developer Edition. If you don't know what it is, this is a special version of Firefox, which is a little bit ahead of the release train. So this is like a Firefox that everyone will be using in a month. So it's a little bit newer code base, but it also allows you to install those unsigned, unchecked add-ons from anywhere you like. So then you can have access to those experimental APIs that I have just mentioned. To start the web extensions project is very simple. You just create a new project and you start your npm init, and then you install this little npm package called WebEx. WebEx is a special kind of tooling that Mozilla provides to help you build add-ons with greater speed. With the help of this little script like WebEx run, what you can very fast launch a new instance of Firefox and install the add-on automatically into it. And then when you will be changing your code, it will be doing live reloading as you would expect on the modern development setup. So building add-ons was never as easy as nowadays with WebEx. And if you want to learn more, there are great resources provided by the MDN to get started with the web extensions. That is not only a glossary of all the available APIs, but also a nice guides on what is available and how to deal with common problems. But you probably want more, right? It's not about the add-ons. You would like to have your own browser, something that will have your own name and probably a logo. And you're probably not the only one. In fact, there are quite a few Firefox forks. They're pretty rare, but they do exist. So from the less known one, like the Pale Icewhistle or WaterFox, those things are done for probably philosophical reasons, like they don't like the Firefox name, or they want to be like GNU compliant. Or Pale Moon decided that, old Firefox was better than new Firefox, so they just froze it in time. But Tor, for instance, is like a great example of a Firefox fork. Those guys built completely new protocol inside of the browser and make it ultra secure and ultra private. And this is only possible if you're really able to tackle the network layer of the browser. So they have good reason to do it. At Plix, that's this logo, where I was working at, we were building this for another reason. We needed a platform on which to build our products. We were a search engine company, and we wanted to integrate search within a browser. That's why we were running our own fork. And all of those are Firefox forks. And so you can have your own if you like. So let's start hacking with Firefox. To do so, you just get the latest code from the Mozilla GitHub repo. Mozilla behind the scene is using a version control system called Mercurial. Probably not many of you, if you're not working on Facebook, knows how to use it, but they provide this convenient mirror to get it from GitHub. so it's easy to start. So you do the clone, you go to the folder, and you run this command. It's called mach. I think from German it means just to do. So you tell it to do the bootstrapping. Bootstrap will download and install all these dependencies that you need to build Firefox. This is one script, you just fire it once, and it will prepare everything with the interactive process to tweak to your liking. So then you can do the mach build, which, as you expect, will start building Firefox. And now get yourself a nice glass of tea, because it will take around an hour until this beast will finish the compilation. And I'm saying an hour on a modern machine. Probably if you have a couple years old laptop, it will take a 2 or so. After it will finish, and hopefully it will, you do the mach run, and voila, your own browser starts. This is just a Firefox, but it runs. Little disclaimer here. It most likely will fail. Something will go wrong. I promise you that. But then you go to the documentation of Mozilla and it's pretty okay. You will figure it out, like people do. But you would like to have your own, right? To do so, Firefox is already well prepared. With the help of a config file, you can start to change the behavior of the browser, like making your own custom name. Right? Name it my browser. Passing the folder full of your logos and icons, or set the profile folder so that your own browser will not use the Firefox profile because probably it can break it. So you do this, build again, and you have your own browser with your own logo. And in fact, Firefox has been shipping with a couple of the custom brandings, like the nightly version, developer edition, and so on. So you put your own logo. I don't know, something nice, like this one. Oh, wait, stop. Better not use it. This is actually a Servo browser engine logo, so check it out. This is a future to come browser written in Rust. So don't use this logo, find another funny one. But when you will decide, congratulations, you have your own browser. That was that easy. Literally a few steps, and you have your own version of branded Firefox. And again, a little disclaimer, if you would like to distribute it to your friends and family, you have to do the code signing, you have to think about the updates, you have to think about publishing it somewhere on the website. But this is the same as with every other desktop application. If you do the Electron applications, it's pretty much the same. And you're done, but probably only for a month. On this infographic, you can see that Firefox releases new version every 6 weeks. So they promote from nightly to developer edition to beta to the release. This year, they have shortened this release cycle to 4 weeks. So every single month, Firefox is releasing the new version, and you would like to catch up with it so that your users are not unprotected from the security issues that we find all the time. That means if you decided to change Firefox in some way, you will have to deal with merge conflict in some way. So let me just talk a bit about how to maintain a fork. What I mean by maintaining the fork, you take the Firefox sources, you change it. And depending on the size of these changes, whenever you get the changes from the upstream, from the latest release, you have to put them on top of your branch, and then you realize, oh my goodness, everything falls apart because I made too many changes. So there are a couple of strategies that I have tried out, and I can recommend you some. So first of all, you can try to start with software with rare syncs. That means you take Firefox, you do some changes, you're happy about them, you don't touch it for a prolonged period of time until you see there is a new feature that you really want to have, and then you have to do this process of merging the upstream. This will be a huge pain. It will take you a lot of effort and probably entire team to cover the changes that Mozilla have introduced. It's much easier to do it more regularly. So, for instance, every 4 weeks, when Mozilla is releasing the new version, you would also like to sync with them, so then you always cover those security patches and new features. And also to decrease the scope of the merge conflicts that you have generated over the time. Next, you can do a hard fork, saying, hey, I'm just taking Firefox like this, and I don't care what Mozilla is doing anymore. Every now and then, I will just look on the list of commits that they provided. Maybe I will find some security patches, so I'll just cherry pick them. And that way, you are reducing the scope of your work quite dramatically. Unfortunately, that means you will have to take a look on all Firefox commits every single time you want to do the sync. And this is a really complex process because there are like hundreds of commits every day. So probably if you don't have a team of people working on it, you don't have a time for it. So in this case, a soft fork maybe working better. But if you're working on a smaller project, like for instance Firefox for iOS, which is not really Gecko, which is not really a browser engine, it's just like just an iOS application with a system web view. This is a small project. I'm running such a fork for about a year now, with just cherry picking from time to time, and it works perfectly fine because the velocity of this project is fairly small. And lastly, the approach that I'm experimenting with at the moment is trying to keep Firefox as is, and instead of trying to put my own code into it, I'm just maintaining a list of patches. Literally like Git patch files, which I'm applying by hand on top of the Firefox source. And that gives me one big opportunity. Whenever I apply a patch and I see a merge conflict, then I can see what this patch was all about, what kind of feature I was introducing, what kind of change I had in mind when introducing it. While when having this all in one huge repo, all of those things start to intertwine, and it's hard to decide which change comes from which feature. So it's easy to forget about something and make a mistake when doing the merge resolution. So those are the approaches, and I now feel that applying patches can yield the greatest results for small teams. If you have a huge team, maybe regular things. And this applying patches approach is not very uncommon. In fact, Electron is doing something very similar. As you know, Electron is a fork of Chromium and Node.js at the same time. So they take those two projects, then bind them together, and basically apply some patches on top of them to create the Electron framework. And that's how they do it. That's where we got the inspiration to test this other approach, and so far it looks pretty nice. But if you don't want to deal with those merge conflicts, probably you would like to customize a Firefox a tiny bit. So every Firefox has this page. It's called about : config. And if you go there, you see this huge list of preferences. And there are over 4,000 of those. Things that you can fiddle with, you can change, like, do I want to have updates? Do I want to have add-ons? Do I really need Pocket? Do I really need search? What is my start page? Do I really need a start page? Like, there are 4,000 of those things, from security, privacy to usability. And you can do this by flipping a flag. And if you maintain the fork, it's all you have to do to make the change. But I would say if you want to do something substantial, always bet on JavaScript. So to minimize those merge conflicts, instead of changing the Firefox, try to inject the add-on that is going to perform your changes into it. That way, your code bases are basically separated, and so you never have to deal with merge conflicts. So if you're using a regular web extension or a system add-on, doesn't matter, because your code base is outside of Firefox, and you can just dump it in. And with help of those experimental APIs, you can change whatever you like. And I have no clue when Brendan Eich has chosen to put Wesley Snipes on the slides from 2015 to always bet on JS. Maybe someone can explain this reference, but yeah, I found it kind of amusing. So there you go. So now you're ready to enjoy your power of JavaScript. You know how to take the Firefox, how to rebrand it with your own name, how to change the features to your liking with preferences, or create completely new features with system add-ons. Right? That is quite a lot, because you can do all those things with just JavaScript. But I would like to put some emphasis that this is all possible to individuals like ourselves, only because Firefox is quite an amazing platform. If you look on its sources, this is in fact the only browser being built on top of the web platform itself. So when you'll be looking on its code base, there will be web components all over the place. You know, custom elements, because they also want to have some custom functionalities in the browser UI. So this is the list of the custom elements that I found somewhere in the source. So you have things like radio buttons or text boxes, tree boxes, like the menus, checkboxes, everything. And this is just JavaScript. This is just standard HTML5 as you know it. And that's how they build the browsers. The DevTools as well, the new page as well, everything. But Firefox and Mozilla was always an amazing platform. If you remember things like Firefox OS, they have built entire mobile operating system with JavaScript on. I remember 2010 when I was on some hackathon, when they were just introducing the technology to the market, and we were able to build a contact app in JavaScript that was working on your phone and integrating with your contact, with your address book. You remember Thunderbird? Thunderbird is still built on top of the same code. Now it's a fork of Firefox because Mozilla is not maintaining it anymore, but the Thunderbird Foundation does it. But it's basically the same thing. There is Thunderbird and Firefox were built on something called the Zool as a platform, or the Zool runner. And this is super old tech. Zool has its roots in 1997. And back then, already Mozilla had a platform to build applications for Windows, Mac, Linux, and whatever else you imagine. 97, I tell you. This is well beyond we even had Chromium, and no one even thought about things like Electron. So now you think like power of JavaScript is amazing because I can just take Electron and I can build the desktop app. Well, Mozilla had it earlier, quite earlier. And if you look inside of the Firefox code, you will find one interesting thing. There are no bundlers, no transpilers, and yet they're using always the newest JavaScript syntaxes. And why it's so? Well, because browser developers have only to target the latest browser, right? Their code will be running in the browser, so you always have to run on the one engine. So you don't have to run into problems with dealing with backwards compatibility. You look on those features, and they just work, because that's what is already provided by the platform. So here are two examples of something cool that they have for really decades. So this first statement is importing a piece of code from another file. You say, well, no biggie, like we have import statements nowadays in JavaScript. But this is 20 years old. The second one is even more so interesting. It's introducing a lazy getter. A lazy getter that in the global context that is introducing the full zoom object. And then when other script will for the first time access this full zoom property, only then the browser will load the script synchronously, inject it there, so it will be available to you without any async await or anything like that. Kind of cool, right? And this is super important when you build desktop apps, which are huge. Like you don't want to load all your scripts at once. Like you don't want to have one huge bundle on the web. Firefox had these problems forever, so they invented the lazy loading way before we thought about dynamic imports. So I would like to put some emphasis on this. Now you know how to build the browser, and you see that it's all coming thanks to an amazing vision of Firefox being built on top of the web platform. But Firefox is not having its best days nowadays. Like Chromium is dominating the web. So please think about it. Your choices really matter here. Like the software that you're using really matters to the future of the web. I'm not saying you all have to jump to Firefox now, but consider alternatives. Chrome is an amazing platform, but so is Gecko, and so is WebKit. We should cherish those differences between them and not complain about them. So think about it and make your choices well. And building Firefox is fun. This is all that I have for you today. And please, I know when you try those things, they probably won't work. Then go to Twitter, find me there, and I'll try to help you out. Because this would be a great fun.
One second. Przepraszam, zapomniałem o tym, bo to jest od sponsora. Bardzo dziękuję. Listen, we have 5 minutes now for any questions that anyone has for Krzysztof. Please make sure that your question is loud enough to be heard by the camera, okay? Because we have, he's not wearing a microphone, and we have only a microphone here. So does anyone have any questions for Krzysztof? Proszę bardzo.
Great presentation, by the way. Is any of those things affected or will be affected by the massive layoffs at Mozilla?
So Firefox, as you know it, is safe. So the layoffs, as I understand, are in the regions that are not really critical for the maintenance or the future of the Firefox itself. I have my own opinions, and probably everyone else could say something similar, but we'll see. And if you talk to Mozilla people, they don't really know what will be the future. The thing is that Firefox and Mozilla as the organization don't have much choices. They're completely controlled by Google. Like all their funds come from Google. So if they lose funds, they have no choice but to fire people. That's again why your choices matter so much.
Yes?
Thanks.
Great answer. And I just want to take a moment to say that, yes, the future of this web development is you guys. And that's part of the reason that I'm here. Please, please think about us normal people who know nothing about tech and make your choices wisely so that we are able to take advantage of all of your innovations and your developments. Thank you. Another question?
Yeah. Also, thank you for your presentation. It was very and smooth. And back to the maintaining process. Does the Mozilla or Firefox team provide also some automated tools to update the browser to support the normal Git, like cherry picking or patching? Is it this updating of the browser is just the Git work, or is it supported by some external script?
There is no special support for this kind of work. Because every kind of organization does this differently. As I understand, Tor also takes this approach with applying the patches. At Clicks, we were maintaining the full fork, basically putting entire code on top of Firefox code. And there is no tooling. Mozilla is huge. If you look on the code, it's 22 million lines or something like that. This is like tremendous scale. As I said, like compilation of Firefox takes an hour on a top spec machine from 2020. So they have really little time to help others other than themselves. But that being said, they have entire code base and all the supporting technologies like the building scripts, like the CI and CD, the updating systems are also all open source, so you can try to utilize them. It will take huge effort to dig into them and understand them because they're typically underdocumented or not really well maintained, but it's possible. I've done this, it works.
Okay. And maybe 1 second, if I'm standing still, the next question. Maybe in the short word, if you could tell, is it more simply to start with the Chromium to build our custom browser or with Firefox? Is it possible to say? Because I know that there is a lot of differences, but like just like that.
Well, like we were asking ourselves these questions for many years, and in fact, we're also at Clicks we're experimenting with Chromium fork, and having some experienced Chromium developers on board, we knew how to do it. The thing is that entire Chromium code base is written in C++. So if you want to change a button, you have to do it in C++. If you want to change like a little UI panel, it's in C++. So the question is, do you know how to write good enough quality C++ and then deal with the merge conflicts? So some stories from the market says that, for instance, Yandex, that also runs the Chromium fork, has 200 people just doing the fork. Same is Opera and and the others. So those are huge teams. And then again, this is like monolithic C++ code base, which is pretty hard to tackle. You can do it, absolutely. But with your skills, I assume, because we're on the JavaScript meetup, you will be better off starting with Firefox because it will be way easier to understand and to change, to modify. Because
I expected that Chromium also has a lot of code base in JavaScript.
So there are huge parts like the add-on ecosystem is mostly written in JavaScript because it's like the binding to the native UIs, to the native APIs. But majority, in fact, is C++ and specifically the UIs.
Thank you.
Good.
Everyone, let's have another hand for Krzysztof. Fantastic presentation. At this time, we're going to ask you all, we're going to take a 5-minute break just to reinstall everything, to reconfigure, and we'll see you in 5 minutes, okay? Before our next speaker. Thank you very much.
Jak zbudować, czy można budować to na przykład do browsera swojego playera,
Ale ty raczej
no playera jakiegokolwiek, taki VLC na przykład, żeby odpowiedni, tak?
kiedyś było takie coś takiego, co się nazywało Plugins. Tam bazowały na takiej technologii LAC, to były takie pluginy właśnie, które pozwalały tego typu na rozszerzenia. Przypomnisz sobie, że czytałeś się, temu mieliśmy Flasha. Flash było dokładnie to. Albo są problem z tego typu rozwiązaniami, podobnie jak ze starymi addonami w Firefoxie, był taki, że bezpieczeństwo jest takim elektronicznym. Nagle wpuszczasz binarny kod do swojej przeglądarki i on może zrobić wszystko, co może zrobić przeglądarki. A przypominam, że przeglądarki działają na poziomie systemu operacyjnego, trzymają rozwój wszystkich. I nagle się okazuje, że dostarczasz użytkownikowi taką przeglądarkę i w sumie nie wiesz, nie wiadomo, co jest szok. Więc to jest bardzo ryzykowne jako dostawcy, dla dostawcy przeglądarki, żeby udostępniać tego typu pluginy na zewnątrz. Natomiast jeżeli jesteś przeglądarką, to nic nie stoi na przeszkodzie, oczywiście możesz to zrobić.
Przerobić Firefoxa na swój własny
Ja mówię,
mogę coś tak zrobić, że sobie przerobię nazwę, a ten przykład dodam do playera. Istniejące playery jeszcze mają te kwestie, które mogą mieć. Nie mamy albo przepisy odchodzić,
Ale player, jak ja rozumiem, to chodzi o to,
W Wsadzie jest.
jak to powiem, w skrócie, co mam na myśli? Jest tam tysiące klipów i teraz żeby na przykład móc musisz szukać na wielu klipach kontentu, który Cię interesuje. Nie, piłka na przykład. Teraz chcesz mieć najlepsze lampki, gole, w ostatniej rundzie to jest tam rozrzucony na to wyszukiwać, tak? Przez wyszukiwarkę dostarczać Ci kontent taki jaki chcesz. Żebyś jakby pomijając wyszukiwanie, żeby Ci player od razu wyszukiwał i dostarczył.
nie zrozumiałem. Wideo wyświetlenia to player YouTube'owy prawdopodobnie jest sam sobie chodzi o to, że system może znaleźć treści i dostać użytkownika w ten sposób.
Nie, chciałbym, żeby to było w tym co ja myślę.
I just want to take this moment to again say thank you to everyone for attending this 6th birthday party for Warsaw JS. Can I hear somebody? Are you out there? No. We have to do better. 6th birthday, everybody. Can I hear it? That's a lot better. Thank you very much. And it's my pleasure now to introduce our next speaker who will address us. And he is one of the founders, obviously, of this organization, and also has become a great friend and also my boss. So this is a new development that we've begun to cooperate on a different level. And thanks to you guys, I've developed some interest in this area of technology, even at my advanced age. So I'm really, really proud and very happy to introduce to some of you and to present to others, Mr. Piotr Jętara. Here you are.
Hello, Warsaw.js. I just wanted to show a very short presentation and give you very important information about changes in our. Can you hear me well? Yeah. And some changes in our organization. So first of all, I'm very happy to see all of you here. I'm happy to see you, Barry, here. Thanks for presenting and for again proving that you're the best master of ceremony I ever taught. So thanks for all Confront.js and all the stuff you did for Warsaw.js. And I'm very happy also to see that Krzysztof Modras was giving the first presentation today at 6th birthday. I don't know if you know that Krzysztof was actually the author of the idea that actually we could have a Warsaw.js meetup. So it started from a meetup, then we started with workshops and with conferences and all of that. So it started from an idea, as usually. And today I would just wanted to talk. I can't switch slides. Take a moment. Okay, so 6 years of hard work and successful stories like Educaton, our hackathon we made together 2 years ago and met actually with Anya. I will tell you more about Anya later. Also cooperation with all of these great people. And I'm so happy to see you all here. And even Kasia is also. We have a full house. And we do all of this sharing with you because we want to be transparent. We want to show some good practices and do it actually somehow together with you. And we all also are learning our mistakes. And about this is going to be my presentation, but especially it's going to be really short and mostly showing the gratitude and the direction where we are aiming now. So why is Warsaw.js here? Sometimes, once a year we should actually think before doing. And because I know why you're laughing, because Krzysztof was surprised with my lack of theoretical approach before programming, because we were programming together 6 years ago, and it was actually a surprise that a person who finished philosophy didn't want to think too much. He was more into doing, maybe learning your mistakes. So as you can see, these are some reasons why Warsaw.js is here. We want to facilitate people, make it easy for people to join IT communities and IT industry. We want to also develop ourselves as programmers, as senior programmers, for example, in soft skills. So we offer you to be volunteers, to be trainers, to help us with delivering knowledge to new people here. And in this setup, in this environment, we all can learn, because we also learn how to communicate. It's also a crucial part for a developer. It's not true that developers only speak to machines. They also speak to people. They want to communicate. They need to understand clients' needs, and this is something we all as humans need to meet from time to time, to talk, to see each other like today live. And this is a challenge for all of us, and for juniors, mid-level, seniors, people who are not directly strictly programmers, like for example UX designers, and are even grandmasters with this, but they need to communicate with programmers, right? that's really sometimes hard. So here you can understand what's there in our programmers' heart. And now it's gratitude time. So first of all, I listed some of us, a small part of the community. Here we can see avatars of people who were speakers at Warsaw.js during the 6 years, who were volunteers and who were also trainers at Warsaw.js workshops. So, and these are 200 pictures of these people who helped us to develop this community, and we don't count obviously people who are just members and coming to our meetup. So thank you all for that, especially volunteers and trainers who really make a lot of effort, plenty of effort to help to build this community and to really help people how to learn. Recently, I saw, for example, a video about Ela Mościcka, who is unfortunately not today with us. But she really was coming first to Warsaw.js as a recruiter. She was making recruitment for Microsoft, and in 3 years she converted to a developer. And in one of her last interviews, she also believes that Warsaw.js was really giving input into that direction. So thanks for that, Ella. If you're watching us, this is a success story. We all here are working for, not only for internal exchanging of knowledge and making, let's do some games, and or maybe let's do this time use JavaScript for integrations. We also want other people to join us and to become a part of that community. I'm also very grateful for all the sponsors. Some of them are here today. For example, I see someone from TenClouds, even the co-founder of this fantastic company, which is you still don't know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that Krzysiek actually found TenClouds as the first sponsor of Warsaw.js. So you're already 6 years with us. So again, thanks a lot for being for doing this. And also Repaste was one of the first sponsors, and I see Piotr Szotkowski, also one of the owners, is here with us. So I'm very also a pass for Piotr. So that was great. Gratitude time. I see also 2 guests from PackHelp. Are you still there? Alec? Yeah, Alec is here. So thanks a lot to PackHelp. And yes, that's all for now, I think. Maybe not. Did I forgot someone? I don't think so. So yeah, and of course, I forgot. Today's streaming is done by Marcin Hagmeier, who is actually also one of the sponsors, co-founder of Exile. So thanks a lot for that. All right, and this was the birthday last year. Kasia and Piotr was with us, and I was hoping we can see them today. Maybe they will join us during the concert. However, we had a great idea together to make this formalized and make this working as a process, as a community, which is also based on some rules. That, for example, volunteers know that they are truly volunteers. That there is a some real fundament and some real declaration, legal declaration. What is our community doing? And therefore we got the idea that we should actually establish a foundation. Anyway, I was thinking about gratitude. So also I was hoping to see Piotr and Kasia here. However, if you're watching us on streaming, also great thanks for all the 5 years of cooperation. yeah, these fundamentals were really strong from the beginning. And there is one also special person who I wanted to say thank you, who can't come to our meetup. However, he's surely, I'm certain that he is watching us, and Maciek joined us on November last year, and actually is doing all the social media work. Every post on Facebook is written by Maciek. He also makes plenty of graphics to take over most of responsibilities connected to social media from Krzysztof and from Piotr. And Maciek is actually the first employee of Warsaw.js too. So thank you very much, Maciek. And yes, and as you know, this is a picture from September 2017. You can see from my hair length that it was really that time. And in 2017, we thought that it's going to be easier to get the Polish court to accept our foundation. That it was accepted in December last year. So we already have the entity, the legal entity, to do what we do in a legal way, and we can hire people to that entity. We can have fundings. We can apply for grants. So we really now we're going to use this entity to continue our building our community, and we created a supervisory board, and I want to. I can see that there are two members of our supervisory board of Warsaw.js. There is Magdalena Ostoja-Pierzyńska over there. Great applause for Magdalena. And there is also Jerzy on the other edge. Jerzy is here. I wanted to make an introduction of the supervisory board. Supervisory board is a body that helps the foundation that is giving advice to the founders, and to the management board, and they're giving hints how to develop, how to make it better, and they're obviously supervising our work. There is also, I hope they're on streaming, Jakub Nander and Van Dam. They are probably watching us now at streaming, so also a great applause for them, who are also the members. And all of them share unique experiences in multiple different fields. However, all of them are somehow technical. I will return to the first part of the supervisory board. So Magda actually studied and was even giving lectures at the Polish-Japanese Technology Institute. And Jerzy is also supporting Linux Users Foundation. So also the technical level, I think, is really strong. In contrary to what he's describing himself. However, Jerzy has a lot of experience in management, as he's the general manager of CIC Warsaw. And also Jakub is a Polyconf and Rupai founder. He's also a CEO of his other small company, Nucommit, in France. However, he has great experience with organizing stuff. The conference Rupai was Polyconf was really huge, and Van also was managing CEDEC, the Central House of Technology in Warsaw, and knows how to build foundations, not only Kids Code Fund, which is actually not a foundation, but she was involved in Girls Code Fund, a foundation that is promoting teaching programming to girls. So to compensate the usual fact that we only try to teach programming to boys. the usual way. So with this supervisors, I think we have a super strong team to go forward, and the Warsaw.js Foundation board members. So besides me, there's also Ania Dwajkowska, which joined us very recently. Where's Ania? Where's the best Ania? And Ania is also helping with organizing all the meetups or the workshops and all the other stuff around that. And it's really helpful. It's been great 4 months of cooperation now. So thank you very much for that already. And there is also a promoted developer who was a volunteer for already 2 years, Mirek Stasiak. And with yes, and I believe with Ania's and Mirek's support, we're going to make it really a better organization, better. We will really deliver the targets that we are aiming for. Because so the plans for the future is the international growth. That's why we switched to English. We want to people who don't speak Polish but are in Warsaw, like plenty of people who emigrated to Warsaw. They still can join our meetups, and we are inclusive also this way that we broadcast it to the whole world now actually. So that's why we do it all in English, and also the skill is growing more because it's challenging to speak in English, and it's the IT language too. More volunteers. We are recruiting for volunteers. We know that some of you have the need to do that sometimes, either as regular volunteers or volunteers trainers. That's also something we're aiming for. Workshops for beginners. We had mostly. Last year we had, I think, 1 or 2 workshops for beginners. This next year we want to have like 10. But to do this, we need to have like 2 workshops every month. So this will be more effort, more work. So more hands to work are needed too. Grants for activity. As we have already the entity, we can apply for grants, and this way we can grow faster. We can hire more people. We can build this community stronger, also from the financial point of view. And that's actually all I have to say. So thank you very much. I hope the cake is going to be tasty, and the Paris concert also that we are all waiting for is going to be tasty. Yeah. So thank you very much for your attention, and let's have the party time.
Wait, don't leave. Don't leave the stage. Don't go anywhere. People, I'm very proud and happy to be standing on this stage with Piotr Jantara. He really has become, no, really, I mean this, has really become a great friend. And as you can see, he's really a very strong rock as a foundation for this community, which I hope continues to grow. You have also included and been very welcoming of me, myself personally. Forget about it, completely untechnical, but I feel welcome in your presence, and I really appreciate that. One more second, does anyone have any questions for Piotr? I can't see a single person. You have a question? Wait a second, I want to hear that question. Repeat that, please.
Zdjęcie w awatarze, z którego było roku. Tam, gdzie miałeś bardzo
Good question. I odpowiedź, proszę.
2014, the beginning. It was the best time. Yeah, we met.
Hold it. That was before he became the Witcher. That was early. I think when we met, you also had very long hair, yes, but now it's really potential. I feel it very much. Any other questions for Piotr? Somebody?
Piotrek, czy zgolisz się kiedyś na Jerzyka?
Tak!
Jaka było pytanie?
Dzisiaj.
The question is if I shave my hair to 1 centimeter to the hedgehog style, and I said yes.
No way. Ale widziałem zdjęcie, kiedyś miałeś taki ten. I jak ja, ale prawie, to było taki centymetr, ale ja kiedyś będę miał takie włosy. Czekamy na to? Super, okej, super. Dziękuję wam bardzo. Zaraz będzie chyba tort i zaraz też będę śpiewać serdecznie właśnie dla was. I dziękuję wam jeszcze raz za obecność. Thank you very much for your attendance. And thanks again, everybody, very, very much. Oh, here it is. And now we're going to sing the traditional song. And you know the song? We're going to sing it in Polish, not in English. Are you ready? Sto, 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 sto. 100 lat, 100 lat. Niech żyją, żyją nam. 100 lat, 100 lat. Niech żyją, żyją nam. Jeszcze raz. Niech żyją, żyją nam. Głośno! Niech żyją nam! Brawo, everybody! We thank you. Now listen, you cannot grab this by the handful, so be patient. And in a moment, someone will make sure that you have a slice of cake. Thank you very, very much. Ania Dławichowska, tak? Dobrze mówię? Dławichowska? All right. Thank you, everybody. See you soon in a few minutes. Thank you very much. Ciężki jest, to znaczy, że dobro.
Że one są ale nie mogą być podstawą. Podstawą człowieka pomiędzy nim YouTube'a i reklamodawcę i klienta reklamodawcy. To mam 4 osoby pomiędzy.
Generalnie mówią, że ponad 70% wszystkich budżetów reklamodawców to do osób trzecich, a nie do Zgadza się, też współpracowałem, ale to jest bardzo trudne. Login górnowy jest tak potężny, że to będzie bardzo trudne. Zresztą wiem, bo między innymi tego typu temat zrobimy moją firmę. Nie mogę. Po co to stoi w ogóle? Żeby wybić, to jest niesamowite.
So, if you want, you can try it just like half a minute or a song, and then you can fade to black. Good. Because I know how it is. We just have to have space. Opposite. Hello. I mean, I was trained.
Słuchajcie,
Ale tor jest tutaj.
Atakujcie, bo jest bardzo dobry. Tym przypadkiem zaraz go nie będzie. Zaraz go
Kupione do kolonizantą, tak?
Jubilator. Jubileusz. Na imieniny.
A, dobra, no to wtedy można mówić, że dzięki.
Podobno można mówić o kolonizacji.
Rada jest taka chłopaki go złoto zmiany.
To jest prezentuje jak aktualne. A ja sobie robię takie zniszczone. Zdemołowane. Ani bardzo dobrze, że to nie, no bardzo, bardzo przyjemnie. Tak. Dojechałem w stare strony, mieszkałem tu jakieś 7 lat temu.
Okej, no i tu jest moja dzielnica, ja stąd jestem.
Zdrowe jest.
Tak.
Okej, a to urodzona?
Tak. Moja rodzina się prowadziła przed II wojną światową i są trzecim pokoleniem urodzonym na Krakowie, czwartym mieszkającym.
A to po mojej historii, moja rodzina miała tutaj kamienicę i po II wojnie światowej zabrano ją nam i wyprowadzili swoją listę utworów. Ja jestem dopiero z Gdańska, ale...
Zazdroszczę trochę, zrobiłam pomyśleć. Natomiast niestety, że bardzo dziękuję każdej wytęczy, bardzo poszukuję zawsze dobrego słowa, że jednak się udało.
Kojarzysz tam Mląską?
Tak.
No to tam Mląskiej ta kamienica, tam bardzo
Okej.
taka rudera.
Okej.
Obok takiego małego parku. Park.
Kolorowego, że to jest światło, to nie wiem.
Ale ona teraz na pani powiedziała, że...
A teraz
Dobry
nie,
wybór.
właśnie nie.
Ale ze względu na bliskość do centrum muszę przyjść.
Słuchaj, ale jak miasto na miejscu wcale nie jest daleko od centrum, szczególnie tutaj.
Wiem, ale tam jest metro.
Wiem.
And this is my friend, Virginia Prasek, who's going to play on the keyboard. Very talented Warsaw musician. I see trees of green and red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, bright blessed days and dark sacred nights. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also in the faces of people walking by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, and I watch them grow. They'll know much more than we'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Dr. Nance, what I say? Well, the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also in the places of people walking by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I see trees of green and red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What a wonderful world. I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Thank you. Is anybody still out there? Are you guys all right? Is it a party? Not yet. It will be in a moment. Let's do we do 66. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. A little tempo. Every place to go to rest. Travel my way, take the highway, that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66. It winds up from Chicago to LA. More than 2,000 miles all the way. Get your kicks on the Route 66. Now it goes to St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, Oklahoma City, look, nice to pretend. You see Amarillo and Gallup, New Mexico. Don't forget Winona, Flagstaff, Arizona, Kingman, also San Bernardino is for you. I get hip to this tiny tip. When you take that kind thrill. Why don't you get your kids on Route 66? Thank you for the rhythm. Yeah. Give it some more, give it some more, give it some more, give it I said it goes to St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, Oklahoma City looks mighty pretty. You see Amarillo, the Gallup, New Mexico, don't forget Winona, Flagstaff, Arizona, even parts of San Bernardino. If you get there this time, please tell where did you take that California trip? Why don't you get your kids on Route 66? I said, why don't you get your kids on Route 66? Why don't you get your kids on Route 66? Yeah, thank you. My favorite fan over here. Oh, I'm so glad that somebody is still out there. It's a party, like I said. We should try to have a good time. All right, maybe we have one or two more songs.
Of course.
Let's try to see my heart. She's not six.